Yo, 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 what's up, boys? Doing a little live stream here, trying out a couple of things, trying out being live on YouTube and being live on Instagram at the same damn time. Let me know what's going on if you guys can see one or both of the lives. What up, Tapo? Just joined the stream. What's good? What's going on, boys? Can you guys hear me? Does it sound good? I don't even know what's going on. Ooh, what up, baby? Can you hear me? I'm live on a couple of platforms here. I don't know how this works, so I'm trying it out. Tapo, what's good, bro? Appreciate you. The fights are on now. I'm gonna go live myself. No, the fights are not on yet. Ooh, they're gonna be on in a little bit. I think we got like 50 minutes or so. So yeah, hell yeah, let's get it. Loud and clear, perfect. We're good. Hell yeah, what's going on, boys? I'm just here to talk some shit, see what's good. Shut the fuck up, Tapo, in the Instagram chat. Yeah, man, I'm excited for these fights tonight. Final fights of the goddamn year. Final fights of ESPN. DS is not with me. He's at a Christmas party, so we're gonna see what's good. I got you, Ooh, for sure, brother. Let me know if you ever want to go live with us. There's a spot open for you anytime, anytime. What's good, guys? What's going on, man? I'm excited to talk. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. We got Royval Kape tonight. We got the end of the year awards. Me and DS are going to be dropping soon. I'm excited about those. Fight of the year, fighter of the year, fan of the year on 10-7 MMA. Our boy of the year, who last year was Charles Energy Johnson, who actually had us on his live the other day. Shout out Energy. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm pumped. Let's see if anyone wants to talk about some shit. We got bets going on tonight. We got a lot of stuff going on. So let's get it. I'm excited to see a couple of UFC debuts. We got this guy Asplin with the titties from Dana White's Contender Series. That guy looks like he's going to be a fun ass prospect. I'm excited for him. Sean Sheriff, man, I don't know about that guy. I mean, he seems like he's pretty good, but then we've seen, like, he seemed good coming into the UFC, and now all of a sudden, after seeing him a little bit, maybe not so good. Maybe not so good. I guess I can go over some of my predictions with you guys. See if anyone agrees, disagrees, or whatever the case is. Let me take a look. Let me pull up those. Let me pull those up. I got Teresa Bleda in the first fight. I'm going Pat, Project Pat in the second one. I'm going Croden, Asplund, Amasov, Brito. I was going Jillian Robertson before that unfortunately got canceled. Gibson, Kennedy and Cheku, Morgan Charrier, Oleg Zacic. I'm going Dale Chino, Kevin Vallejos, and Titty Boy himself, Manel Kape. Double titties, Asplin and Kape on these two. MMA Ooh on YouTube. Thoughts on Royval tanking his relationship with the UFC by shitting on the White House card. Asplin seems fun. Wonder how much longevity he has. Royval, man, he's in a weird place, dude. I mean, we'll see what happens with this title fight with Josh Van next. I mean, everyone's saying Josh Van versus Tatsuro Taira is kind of a done deal in Japan. I don't think so, man. I think the UFC would be better off going with an interim title, doing Tatsuro Taira versus the winner of tonight's fights. That makes more sense for me, right? You put Van in there and in like an interim title fight. You never know what could happen, man. Maybe he gets injured. Maybe Taira wins. Then when does Pantoja get his lick back on Josh Van? The whole situation's a little fucked up. So it is what it is with the Royval. We also don't know like what his political stance is. So we'll see, man. And then hell yeah, Asplin looks like a fucking blast, man. That guy's gonna be fun as hell. Titty boy, man. Big boy, big power, big titties. Can't hate on it. Let's get it. I'm excited, man. Who y'all got? Let me know. You guys got Royval or Kape tonight? And how much of a chance does Giga Chikadze have against Kevin Vallejos? Ooh, Manel Kape versus Taira in Japan is probably what the brass is hoping for. Of course, that's what they were hoping for from the beginning, right? You booked those fights on the same card. That's why you had Tatsuro Taira versus Brandon Moreno on that card, hoping that this was the outcome. They can get Asakura on the card too, of course. They can get Kai Asakura. I'm sure they'll sign some talent from Japan, from Ryzen, from some of these other promotions. So we'll see what's good. Hell yeah, man. It's gonna be an interesting card if they go to Japan. I was saying on the pre-show for the last card, if Tatsuro Taira wins this fight, he's gonna get the next title shot. They've been trying to break into Japan for a long time, so it's huge for the UFC, man. You go to Saitama Super Arena, you get these huge fights in a huge market that they've been trying to get and steal it away from steal it away from Ryzen and a couple of these other companies. Hell yeah. Should be a banger of a card tonight. Final card on ESPN for us in the United States of America. Hell yeah, let's get it. I don't know if I can go live with anyone on Instagram because I'm on Instagram and YouTube right now. Interested to see if somebody wants to hop in live. We'll see what's going on, but it is what it is. Hell yeah. Let's get it, boys. Excited. Man, I was excited to see Jillian Robertson, right? That was another fight I was excited to see, man. She's always fun. She's always live for a submission. Jillian Robertson is a dog, but it looks like Amanda Lemos pulled out with some health shit going on, so we'll see what happens there if they get that fight rebooked for January or February. I think they'll be going to Canada around February, March. That's the rumor, so we'll see. Or not March, April. Sorry about that. Who says Wei Li and Dern on that Japan card would be dope as hell too. Yeah, I mean, you got to give Zhang Wei Li her rematch. And if they're not going to China early in the year, I mean, that's the obvious one, right? Put her in China. But if not, Japan would be dope, man. And I think she gets that belt back off of Mackenzie Dern. I don't think Mackenzie Dern's that good, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, I just think she's kind of a paper champion, as I do with Josh Van. I know that might be crazy to some people, but it just is what it is, man. It is what it is. Shout out Toad hopping in the chat. What's going on, Toad? What's up, brother? Let's see here. Guys, this is confusing. I'm trying to keep track of YouTube and Instagram. I'm really goddamn confused. It's the first time I'm doing this. I wish DS was here with me, but it is what it is. Hell yeah. Ooh, says Joshua Van, man. Hard kid to get behind after the antics. And that's the problem, right? I was talking to Charles Johnson about this a little bit earlier this week. Obviously, he's the only man to beat Josh Van in the UFC. Of course, he finished him by knockout third round, which your boy predicted right here. But it's tough, man. I mean, think about it, right? You're 24 years old. You've been training your whole goddamn life to become a world champion in the UFC. You finally get that, right? You finally get that opportunity to fight for the title. You end up winning it in a weird way, right? So it's not the way he wanted, obviously. It's not the way he planned it, but he got the belt. So I understand being excited, 24 years old and all that kind of shit. You just beat a legend, but still, right? It still is that legend. Everybody in the community has a ton of respect for Alexandre Pantoja. And to see him celebrating like that was a little fucked up, but I guess I get it, man. Think of yourself when you were 24, right? Young, dumb, full of cum, all that kind of good shit. Dern reminds me of Glover as far as like presence in her division. She's capable and can go toe to toe with everyone, but unless she gets good stylistic matchups, her run will be short. I mean, yeah, man, it's Mackenzie Dern. It's Mackenzie Dern at the end of the day, right? We know what she's about. I think we know how good she is. She did look fucking amazing in that title fight versus Verna Janjanova, but how good is Mackenzie Dern? I think we've kind of seen the ceiling. We've seen the highs. We've seen the lows. We know where she is. She's not Zhang Wei Li. It is what it is. Toad says, just getting home. I was happy to see the card start at 7. I thought it started at 6. Same thing, bro. I'm in Central Time, so I thought it started at 5, starting at 6. So I was like, you know what? Might as well go live for a little bit, see if anyone wants to talk some shit about the fights. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, do your boys a favor. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that bullshit. We're getting ready to drop a ton of content. We were supposed to be doing an interview with MMA Joey at some point in the near future, these next couple weeks. We're going to be linking up with Fight Society. Shout out Wyatt, man. Wyatt is an absolute beast. Puts out some of the best content on all of MMA YouTube. We're going to be linking up with him probably soon, doing something. I know we're going to be linking up with him in Chicago. So if he comes to that PFL card that's in Chicago in like March, we're definitely doing something. GSB 38 says, which dogs will cash for this card? Man, there's a couple, man. There's a couple of them I like, but more so than that, there's a couple favorites that like I'm starting to see the odds are a little crazy. Like I'm picking Kevin Vallejos to beat Giga Chikadze, but the disrespect on Chikadze is crazy. I know he's old. It's a big line, big chalk to lay. Brandon Royval's live. Let's see here. I'm scrolling through the favorites. I like Morgan Charrier on this card. Let's see. I don't have the odds for King Green, Lance Gibson. I wonder what those are. If anyone knows those, throw them down. Let's see. Neil Magny's a live dog. He's a very live dog on this one. Sean Sheriff, I guess, is a live dog. just heavyweight. He has some power. I think Melissa Croden wins. I'm picking her straight up. She's an underdog on this card. Yeah, that's where I'm at with the dogs. Anakin, what up, baby? How you doing? Giga could beat Kevin. Kevin looked all right in his last fight. Yeah, man. Kevin Vallejos, this is a guy that I've been very goddamn high on. And I don't know, he's kind of disappointing last time out, right? I still think the Michael Jordan quote, the ceiling is the roof or whatever. I think unlimited potential for this kid. He could end up being a UFC champion. I imagine he'll be in the top 5 at some point in the future, but still a tough-ass fight to pick, man. Tough fight to come back to after looking so-so in the last one, right? See here. Ooh, says Moicano versus Ortega is official. Yeah, it's official. That's what I've heard for sure. I guess Anakin posted that. Yeah, I saw that last night. Should be a banger, man. Brian Ortega, it's about time you go up to 55, brother. He couldn't make weight against Aljo. He was like dying on the scale, had a seizure, like fainted or some shit beforehand. So I think it's about that goddamn time for Brian Ortega to move up to 55. And we've been seeing it a lot lately, right? Max moved up to 55. Obviously, Ilya, Volk tried his hand at it. And before that, this whole generation came up from 45. Renato Moicano, Gilbert Burns, who's a 55er going up to 70. But a bunch of these guys from 45 going up to 55, especially now as they get older. And they kind of fit into the division, man. I guess it's that lighter man skill. I didn't think it would hold true in these lightweight classes, but it seems like it holds true all the time. Ooh, says sheesh, Moicano's going to smoke him. I love the Eagle Ortega, but he lacks the drive. Moicano needs money. Yeah, man, Brian Ortega, right? He came out with that whole Phoenix shit. The Eagle breaks his beak and all that kind of bullshit just to lose. Crazy. Anakin says, did you see the PFL main event? Nemkov wants Francis next. Yeah. I actually watched the last 3 fights on that. Saw Kevin Jusay get knocked out. Saw Chris Cyborg submit her opponent, and she called out Dakota Ditcheva, which is a fucking bananas fight. And then, of course, Vadim Nemkov wants Francis Ngannou, man, and I'm down. I think Francis starches Vadim Nemkov. I've always been a huge believer in Vadim, but Francis got a different kind of fucking power, man. He is absolutely different. You know what I'm saying? That's it's a tough fight. Tough fight for Vadim Nemkov. Who says Francis is going to scalp Nemkov. He's a bloated UFC light heavyweight. He is. I mean, he's fought guys in the UFC light heavyweight division, right? He lost to Yuri Prohaska back in the day. I want to say that was in Ryzen. He's fought some of these guys. He's been around forever. I mean, he comes from a great team, but he's a natural 205er. You're not going to be doing anything to Francis Ngannou. What he did today to Renan Ferreira and being able to take him down and control him the way he did, you're not doing that to Francis Ngannou. I don't care what Renan Ferreira's belt is in jiu-jitsu. Francis has a different level of grappling. Anakin says AJ versus Jake Paul next week. Yeah, man, we'll see. I'm still kind of shaky on if that goes down. I'm still kind of shaky on, is that a real fight? They're saying there's a no knockout clause. Brother, if Jake Paul beats Anthony Joshua, then we know this shit is fixed, allegedly, supposedly, right? I don't want to get sued. But there's no fucking way that Jake Paul beats Anthony Joshua. That's bullshit. If it happens, it's fake. NTRD in the Instagram chat says, what do you think of this parlay? Royval plus 110, significant strikes. Oleg Zacic over half a takedown, and Asplin Sheriff under 1.5. Asplin Sheriff under 1.5, I love. Oleg Zacic over half a takedown, I like that a lot. The one that scares me is the Royval 110, significant strikes. What happens if he's not able to get off, and then Manel Kape with those new titties knocks him out? You know what I'm saying? That's the one that's scary. Shout out Fight Society Wyatt on the Instagram. What's up, brother? Hopefully you can make it out to Chicago for that PFL card and we can get it popping and do some great content. Anakin in the YouTube chat. Almeida got dropped by El Hassan and Kopylov, who hasn't looked good in recent fights. That's facts. Renan Ferreira is a problem. He made his opposition look pretty bad. Definitely expected more from him than a first-round flop. Yeah, man, it looked like once he did that scramble, once he kind of like flipped off the cage, his gas tank was done, and that was that. You know what I mean? You could tell that he gave it that last little effort, and he wasn't going to get up from under Vadim Nemkov. If they went to a second round, it was going to be rinse repeat. Vadim was going to take him down. It was really a matter of, can you stuff a takedown and throw that big-ass right hand before this guy's able to take you down? That's really kind of what it boiled down to in that fight. Vadim Nemkov is always the more talented, skilled fighter. Thoughts on the AJ Fry fight? A weird one, right? So I believe they're both debuting. Is that right? Give me a second here. Let me pull up my notes, guys. My bad. Let's see here. It's Alan Fry, Alan Fry, Guillermo Pat. I'm going Guillermo Pat. I just think there's going to be, look, there's not going to be any wrestling in this fight. It's going to be a straight up stand up fight. And when it comes down to it, you just got to trust who do you think has more power. I'm going Guillermo Pat. I just think he gets there first. It's not too much of a nuance to take. There's just not enough film on these guys to honestly make a nuanced take on it. So that's where we're going with that. Let's see what else we got. Jillian fight is off. Who took her place? Nobody took her place. She was supposed to be fighting Amanda Lemos, and I guess Amanda Lemos pulled out with a medical issue. And there it is right there. Anakin says the same goddamn thing, medical issue. I was always going Jillian Robertson in that fight. A couple things. Some of my betting friends are saying there's a conspiracy afoot, guys, that UFC wanted to lock away your money, lock away your Parleezis. I don't know about all that, but that's out there. There's also another fight on this card that actually had like a 500-point swing, which is crazy. It was the Joe Anderson Brito fight. Obviously, it's a short notice fight, but the odds swung in that like 400 or 500 points overnight. So maybe another Bulgarian situation. Who knows? I doubt it. I just think it was just a bad line to start with. So we'll see what's going on. Serge Suave in the Instagram chat says Kape for decision, maybe TKO. Yeah, I'm going TKO, man. I love Brandon Royval. I love Raw Dog. That's one of my favorite flyweights on the roster. Manel Kape's just different, man. When he's actually in there, so there's a couple things with Manel Kape, right? First and foremost, it's when he's in there, because Manel Kape pulls out of a ton of fucking fights. This guy is not very, like, the UFC can't rely on him for any of these situations, but he's actually in there. That's what it looks like so far today. When he's in there and he's on, right? Because there's a different Manel Kape when he's off versus when he's on. When Manel Kape is on, the striking is world class, guys. It is world class striking. He's absolutely filthy, nasty power, nasty movement. He's fast. He's explosive. He cheats a little bit, right? We know the eye poke situation and all that, but you never know. He's kind of like a 50-50 guy with Royval, man. I didn't like the approach to the last fight, right? I didn't like the approach at all, man, against Josh Van. I feel like he had that fight. He was going to win that fight, and then all of a sudden he gets dropped with 20, 30 seconds left, whatever it was. Ends up he ends up fucking himself over and losing a huge fight to Josh Van, which leads to Josh Van being the champion. So for me, it's more a case of, do I expect Manel Kape to be on? I do. He's had a long absence here. And then with Royval, I expect him to go forward. You don't expect Brandon Royval to change anything. You don't expect him to change anything in his game plan. MMA Toad in the Instagram chat says Royval was paid off to box with Josh Van. Yeah, and you said that on the channel, I believe, last time out. And I feel it. Shout out Burko in the YouTube chat. Brother, how you doing? I'm great, brother. How are you? Nice to see you again. When I was putting this live up, Burko, I had to delete the thing because I typed about you last time. It said, follow us on Instagram at D107MMA. By the way, it's Burko. MMA, I think Manel Kape is a bantamweight. He should move up if he loses tonight. He fits in well at 135. Yeah, but he fits in well at 125, right? The weight cut is brutal. The steroids and all that kind of bullshit is trash. But if he's not getting caught for steroids and he could still make 125, then this is the division for him. 135 is, some of those guys are big boys. Burko says Royval's going to win. Much love, brother. Says Royval refuses to mix it up. The Diaz comparisons make sense. I'm not confident he'd be able to control him, but he could have clinched and made it messy like he has in the past. And that's what it is, right? He's down to mix it up all the time. Don't get it twisted. He is a fun fighter. He is a ballsy fighter. He's brave. He doesn't have bitch at all in his system, but the smartness seemed to be lacking, right? Like Josh Van, it is what it is, man. Like, I know Charles Johnson knocked him out, but that's not the way you beat Josh Van, right? It's going to be with the control. Unless you're a huge power striker, that's really not the way to beat him. It's going to be with control. It's going to be with grappling. And yeah, he chose not to do it in that fight, which was crazy. Burko says everyone counted Royval out against Tyra and Moreno, but he brought the fight and also won. And let's be real, Tyra will finish Manel Kape. Yeah, man, I'm infatuated, absolutely infatuated with Tatsuro Taira. I think that kid is the real deal. I think he's the best prospect in the entire UFC in these low weight classes, 125, 135. That kid looks legit, man. If he were to fight Josh Van, I'm picking Tatsuro Taira early right now. That's kind of where my brain's at. I'm glad we get to turn off our analytical UFC brains for the rest of the year after tonight and we could just start making some fun content. We're going to be doing like our yearly awards and all that kind of stuff. So we can think about that when we get there. But yeah, for right now, I'm going Tatsuro Taira. He'll be the next champion. He'll be the next champion. I think he beats Josh Van. And I think he gives, at this point, Pantoja a hell of a fight, depending on Pantoja's injury. Burko says he agrees. Yeah, man, Tatsuro Taira is the real deal. I'm glad me and Diaz got to see him fight live at UFC 290. And even before that, we were saying this kid's a future champ. So I'm excited, man. He's a hell of a fighter in a market that the UFC desperately needs, guys. Desperately needs. So, yeah, let's get it. Is there any news about tonight? I saw a fight was canceled, but I'm unsure. Yeah, Jillian Robertson versus Amanda Lemos is off. That fight, it looks like Amanda Lemos pulled out, and yeah, we'll see if they rebook that. No news on a rebooking. Obviously, there's no replacement opponent or anything like that. So we'll see. Unfortunately, I had Jillian Robertson on a couple Parleezes by sub. So I'm really upset about that, guys. Really goddamn upset about it. This is throwing me off, this YouTube, Instagram live shit. I'm absolutely tripping, guys. It's confusing to keep track of both tabs, but we're trying our goddamn best. We are trying our best. What's going on? What do you guys think? Anthony Joshua or Jake Paul? How do you guys see that going next week? Let's talk about that a little bit. Maybe we'll make maybe me and DS will do a video on that. If DS is watching, let me know, brother. MMA Toad says Energy gave the blueprints. You mix it up on Van. Yeah, that's what it is, man. You got to mix it up on Josh Van, right? You're not like, he's such a clean boxer, guys. Like for the UFC, his boxing is amazing. Obviously at these lower weight classes, you see a handful of good boxers, but Charles Johnson did show you the recipe on how to beat him. Shout out Energy. It's one of those situations where I don't think Josh Van has like this nuclear one-shot knockout power. So his wins come through TKOs. They come through decisions where he's kind of like putting it on you. That's why I was picking Pantoja to beat him. I just didn't think he'd be able to outclass him for 5 rounds. I didn't think he'd be able to put enough damage on him for 3 rounds where he would need that accumulated damage to put Pantoja out. But that fight went the way it went. Anakin says AJ by KO is the obvious pick. Depends on if the fight is fixed or not. So I'm not crazy, right? I'm not the only one that thinks that shit's fixed. Burko says, I'm not sure who will win, but I'm not afraid to bet the house for that fight to go the distance. Anthony can win, but nobody will see the canvas. Yeah, it's fucked up. There's supposedly like a no knockout clause, which is like, if you're fighting Anthony Joshua and there's a no knockout clause, like what's the point? What's the point, right? Jake Paul knows what he's doing. He's a hell of a promoter. He's actually a really goddamn good boxer, but people hate him. They want to see him get knocked out. And like, you're doing it. You're giving us the opportunity, but then there's a no knockout clause. Like, come on, man. Burko says it is rigged. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's always been rigged. And then people are like, well, then why would he lose to Tommy Fury? It's like, because they wanted to fix it that way. That's the way they wanted to do it, bro. I don't know how this illegal shit works, but that's why. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. Probably some betting shit. Says, brother, the odds are so high for that fight to see the distance. Yeah. What are the odds? Let me know. I haven't even looked at them. To be honest with you, I'm not like too interested in it. I'm going to watch it because there's nothing else to do. But, you know, let me know. Let me know if you see the odds on there. I'll pull them up, see if we can get them. DraftKings. So money line, Anthony Joshua is a minus 1,200. Jake Paul plus 700. Jake Paul by KO plus 1,200. Anthony Joshua by KO minus 400, which doesn't make sense if there's a no knockout clause. They're just trying to steal your money. Let's see. Anthony Joshua by decision plus 450. Jake Paul by decision plus 1,600. Where's fight goes the distance? Round props? Is that where it would be? Fight props. Fight to go the distance. Yes, plus 370. It's pretty good. 370 is pretty goddamn good. I might be playing that. Burko's throwing up numbers. Plus 600. Jake Paul decision plus 1,800. Joshua plus 600 distance, I think. Yeah, man. I mean, we're going to watch it. Unfortunately, Jake Paul's fucking one of like 4 people that gets us watching boxing these days. I used to love boxing. Used to absolutely love that shit, and it died out, guys. It died out a long time ago. It's unfortunate because now I stick around for Usyk. I'll watch the big name fights. You know what I mean? I'll watch Ryan Garcia. I'll watch Devin Haney. I'll watch all those dudes. I watched a couple weekends ago, whatever that was on Netflix. I don't even remember anymore. But boxing's just kind of dead, bro. That was my first like introduction to martial arts, or to fighting in general. But it's unfortunate that it sucks now, and MMA is way more interesting. I've got Joshua decision plus 630. Guess I'm lucky. I think that betting that fight for the distance is just free money. Probably, bro. I don't imagine Jake Paul getting knocked out again with the no knockout clause. I can see that being the case, right? Being the case. Let's get it. We got about 20 minutes till UFC starts, guys. Probably going to be getting out of here in a couple of minutes. So we'll see what's good. Anyone else want to talk about anything? Let's talk about Yaroslav Amosov. What do you guys think? Anyone that's in the chat, what do you think about Yaroslav Amosov? I know a lot of people are Neil Magny's the prospect killer, or Neil Magny, he just does it. He does it to all these dudes. Yaroslav Amosov, of course, lost to Jason Jackson, who's a great fighter, but these Bellator, PFL guys coming over. It's like a lot of people are kind of sour on him. Patchy Mix and Patricio Pitbull and all these dudes. So a lot of people are kind of fading Amosov. I don't buy it, man. I just don't buy it. Burko says, especially if there's a no knockout clause, for sure. Then he says, Magny gonna sub him. Man, a lot of people are saying that shit. A lot of people, I might have to sprinkle that. I don't have Amosov on any of my parlays today, any of my bets, but I'm down. I might sprinkle on Neil Magny. I feel bad for Yaroslav Amosov, right? He's he fought in Ukraine. He was a part of the Ukrainian military and all that. Give me a second, guys. I got a message here. Fought in the Ukraine military and went to war. It's like crazy. Came back, lost his belt, and just a fucked up situation. So I'm kind of rooting for him. But shout out Neil Magny. Everybody loves Neil Magny, man. He's a legend. Toad, I don't know if you can hear me, if you're watching. I got your message, brother. I'm gonna only be on here for a couple more minutes, and then I'll probably get off. But maybe I'll be on if you're doing the fight companion, maybe I'll hop on with you for a little bit. Burko says, brother, let's be real. Ben Askren did it better than Patchy Mix or Pitbull. He did, right? And it's not really a case of like all-time Bellator and PFL guys or whatever coming over, right? Justin Gaethje, a World Series of Fighting, which is PFL. It came in, did awesome. Ben Askren, I guess, did awesome, right? It was weird, but he got himself a win in that first fight. Think of it what you want. Who else was it? Michael Chandler, right? Earlier, like 2020 when he came in, 2020, 2021, whenever that was. Came in, got himself a KO over a highly ranked guy in Dan Hooker. But it's been lately. It's been the Patricio Pitbull, Patchy Mix, Aaron Pico. I think there was one more guy recently that came in that's just kind of like getting people to fade these PFL guys. I really believe Pitbull is the worst fighter in the UFC right now. That's not true, brother. And first of all, shout out Patricky Pitbull, huge friend of the channel. Check this out right here. Within reach, Patricky Pitbull, the king of KO. So Patricio's brother, great friend of the channel. Look, Patricio Pitbull is an MMA legend. I don't know like how far back your MMA fandom goes, or if you really dabbled into Bellator and all that kind of stuff. Patricio Pitbull, an absolute legend, man. He won 2 titles, 2 division world champion, was going for a 3rd live in Chicago. I was here for that fight. Yes, I did see the Dan Ige fight. It was disappointing. It is what it is. But at this point, he's old. You know what I mean? So I would hate to say like first of all, he's not the worst. He just won. He just won a fight. But I get what you're saying. Like it was a very disappointing performance. It just is what it is, man. Sometimes it's the lights, sometimes it's the moments. But Patricio Pitbull, I have no doubt in my mind that if he came during his prime, he would have been a guy in the top 5 of any UFC division he would have been fighting in, whether that's 45 or 55. And I think he would have competed with some of the top guys. I think he really would have been there with your Gaethjes and your Dustin Poiriers if he chose 55. If he was at 45, he'd have been in that same era with like, I think Max Holloway would have beat him, but Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, like the come up of Yair, that would have been a fun fight. Like at that time, there was a bunch of great matchups to make. Just kind of unfortunate timing. The biggest gripe I have is Patchy Mix, right? That's the one that kind of throws me off because I thought so goddamn highly of Patchy Mix. I thought this guy was going to come into the UFC and show that he belongs in that top 5, top 10 at least. I remember one time I commented on one of his things and I was like, Patchy Mix is like a top 5 bantamweight in the world. And he was like, I'm top 1. I'm like, all right, bro, my fucking bad, bro. My bad. Then he comes in and gets exposed in the UFC, which was really goddamn unfortunate because I was sitting here singing his goddamn praises. But it is what it is. Burko, did you watch Bellator like back in the day? How old are you? How far back does your fandom go? Let me know. Let me know about that because now I'm a little confused as to what you think. Because Patricio Pitbull was a fucking dog. Once again, shout out Patricky Pitbull, King of KO, my boy. Shout him out. Just bang MMA joins in the Instagram chat. What up? What up? Is that Benny? Is that Benny in the chat? All right, guys, since we're dying out here, since it looks like we're dying out, I'm going to go over my picks one last goddamn time. Let y'all know what I'm going with. By the way, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, do all that. We got a ton of content coming up here in the next couple weeks while there is this UFC dry spell. But as far as the picks, one more time, I accidentally muted myself on Instagram. What am I doing? Where are we at? 1 second. We're going Bleda. We're going Project Pat. We're going Croden. We're going Asplund. We're going Yaroslav Amosov, Joe Anderson, Brito. We were going Jillian Robertson. We're going Gibson, Kennedy, Morgan Charrier, Oleg Zacic, Kevin Vallejos, and Titty Boy himself, Manel Kape in the main event. Again, I'm really rooting for Brandon Royval. I love Raw Dog, but I just think Manel Kape is a motherfucker once he's actually in that cage, which is really goddamn rarely. Anyways, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. We'll be back. We might be back on soon with the Toad later on today. Toad says Project Pat. Now Toad joins the chat. What up, Toad? Let me know if you're going to go live, brother. I might join you like in and out here and there. I'll be on my cell phone. I'll be in the living room, so I won't have like the whole setup. But maybe I'll chime in for a little bit. Let me know the deal, brother. So yeah, like, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Ton of content coming up soon. Instagram, love you guys. Follow us there as well. The107 MMA. Real quick, Zach in the chat on Instagram says, "Hey, you snapped getting on 2K with me." Yeah, brother, we can get on 2K, brother. We can do it all. The world is our fucking oyster, my boy. We can do what we want to do. We're adults. We're grown. We have electricity, internet, and money, and that's really all you need besides food. I love me some food. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for goddamn watching. Peace.